Okay, so you're building a new ambulatory surgery center, an ASC. You've got a million things to decide. But let me tell you, one of the biggest choices, the one that can truly make or break you for years, is how you equip the place. Get it right, you're on the path to success. But get it wrong, well, you could be making $1 million mistake before you even open your doors. Let's get into it. $1 million. That's the number we're talking about here. It's how much a new surgery center can save right off the bat. But it's also the size of the hole you can dig for yourself with one bad strategy. It's a huge number, right? And it all hangs on a single, kind of deceptive choice. So, what is the best deal? Is it just about finding the absolute lowest price on a piece of paper? Or is it something more? Today, we're going to look at two very different ways an ASC can go about this, all based on how they answer that one question. One path leads to total chaos, and the other, well, it leads to confidence. All right, first up, let's walk down the path most people take. You know, the one that seems totally logical on the surface, but is just packed with hidden traps. This is the path of the price shopper. So let's picture a VP of operations for a new center. She's sharp, she's working hard, and her big mission is to equip the entire facility. And the number one goal she's been given? Save money. So she does what pretty much anyone would do, makes a huge list, sends it out for quotes, and gets ready to pick the cheapest option for every single item. Sounds reasonable, right? But the clock is ticking, loudly. And this is exactly where things start to fall apart. With just a few weeks left, she's firing off orders to a dozen different companies. In that kind of time crunch, the vendors are just scrambling. They can't get you the best gear, they can only get you what's on the shelf right now. Then delivery week hits. Trucks are late, some pieces of equipment don't even work together. Installation turns into this frantic race to opening day with zero time for proper testing. And then, during that first year when some of that cheap last-minute stuff inevitably breaks, the staff is left digging through a mountain of invoices just trying to figure out who to call for a warranty. It's a mess. You see, the whole point is that those upfront savings just created this avalanche of hidden costs. You got constant stress, delays in the operating room, frustrated staff, and unreliable equipment. That's the real price they paid. It's the classic definition of winning the battle but losing the war. Okay, now let's switch gears and look at a totally different way of thinking. A much more strategic path that completely changes what it means to get the best deal. This is the path of the value planner. This story is all about Dr. Spiritos from the Saguaro Surgery Center. He's the medical director for the state of Nevada, so he had this really clear vision. He wanted a facility that was so good it would attract the absolute best surgeons. But he also had a budget. He knew he couldn't afford to make that $1 million mistake. So instead of breaking everything into a million little pieces and chasing the lowest price, Dr. Spiritos made one really smart decision right at the very beginning. He brought in a single, expert equipment planning partner to handle the whole thing, starting from the moment they had the first architectural drawings. And what's so cool is you can almost see the domino effect of that one choice. They started with a really deep dive into what the center actually needed. The planning partner then worked side by side with the architects and the construction team. Because of that, they caught tiny things like where floor drains should go, and massive things like making sure the ceiling mounts for booms and lights wouldn't clash with the HVAC. That kind of proactive planning saved the project hundreds of thousands of dollars in what would have been expensive change orders. And the result? Every piece of equipment showed up on time, on budget, and got a full white glove installation and testing. No drama, no stress. This slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? The price shopper is all about that low upfront cost. Their process is reactive, rushed, and the only thing that matters is the sticker price. The result? Chaos. The value planner, on the other hand, is focused on the total value and return on investment. The process is proactive, integrated, and their key metric is uptime and performance. And the result there? Predictability and success. It's a night and day difference. So, seeing those two paths, let's really get to the bottom of what cost actually means. Because it's not about the number on the tag, it's about how that equipment performs for the entire life of your facility. I love this quote from Nate Carrick, the CEO of ChenMed Surgical. It just cuts right to the chase. Think about it. The most expensive thing you can own is something that's broken. Every single minute an OR is down because a piece of equipment failed, you are just hemorrhaging money. Downtime is the real profit killer, and it makes that initial purchase price seem tiny. And that brings us to this really critical idea: total cost of ownership. This is the metric that value planners absolutely live by. It makes you look past that initial price and think about everything else that comes with it. The cost to run it, maintain it, service it, and, yep, most importantly, the cost of what happens when it breaks down. Now, thinking about total value doesn't mean you can't also get some incredible upfront savings. This is where a really smart strategy, like using certified refurbished equipment, comes into play. You can get current model, patient-ready gear and save anywhere from 40 to 60% compared to buying new. That's where that $1 million in savings we talked about comes from. It frees up a ton of cash for other things, and you don't have to sacrifice quality. A really great planning partner goes even deeper, though. They're not just selling you a box. They're recommending stuff based on actual real-world data. They know which models break down the most, how easy they are to fix, and if you can even get parts for them. They're using their own databases of service records to steer you toward equipment that is reliable and maximizes your uptime. That is the real secret sauce to long-term value. So how can you make sure you end up on that value planner path? Well, you need a clear blueprint, something that takes all the guesswork and the risk out of the equation. And it can be as simple as a 2-step process like this one. Step 1, a fee-based consulting plan. An expert team comes in, does a deep assessment, and builds a custom equipment blueprint just for your facility. And here's the best part. You own that plan. You can take it and shop it around if you want. Then, step 2, if you decide to go with them, that whole consulting fee gets credited toward your equipment purchase. They handle everything, sourcing, delivery, all of it, on a guaranteed budget and timeline. It's a model that's built on transparency and trust. I mean, just imagine that for a second. From the day you file your first piece of paperwork to the day you open your doors, you have one plan, one partner, and one person to call for all of your equipment. That is the huge difference between the chaos of the price shopper and the calm, controlled world of the value planner. So in the end, it really does all circle back to that first big choice. This isn't just about buying stuff. It's about making a smart investment in the future success and profitability of your surgery center. So the real question is, how are you going to define the best deal?